And we are live. Happy Halloween, everybody. Happy Spooktober. Sorry, I was just checking my stream. I was doing an Eli. Happy Spooktober. Excuse my phone, that keeps going off. Evening to everybody. I know it's been a very busy day for live streams. I know Tammy went live earlier. J-Rom's been live. Coach Eli graced his presence this morning with an impromptu live stream. And as it's Halloween, I've got to get my live stream in before Tammy and that go live tonight with because we all want to hear what Eli's going to say on Robert's channel this evening. I mean, I do. I don't know about anybody else. Morning. Well, actually, it is 5 o'clock in the evening. Did you see Willow's outfits? Yes, I did. I did see them. Or afternoon. It's actually evening. It's 5 p.m. nearly. Hey, Bodacious! Super sticker. Thank you to Bodacious for the $5 for this Halloween. Thank you for coming to give me some treats. If anybody else would like to donate some Halloween treats my way, because obviously, you can't send sweets in the post. But thank you for my Halloween breaking news. Eli is going live tonight from the couch with Dawn. If only he was. Eli is doing a interview with Hot Facts with Robert Reese this evening. Guaranteed to be mentioning us a lot because whatever topic does he have? Life coaching? Dare I say it? Good evening, Joe Buddy, Gordo, Jesse, of course. Tammy is here. Katie is here. He's doing a walking stream at 5 my time. Yes, he's going to prove that he's not an a-hole. Of course he is wrong. He is, of course, an a-hole. You're going to be restreaming him. I don't blame you. I'm not making it up. Look at Eli's scheduled stream. Is he? Hang on. See, it's hard to keep up with Eli because he has so much free time and I don't. I just don't have free time to keep watching Eli's streams. How much did he pay her to come back? On the couch with Dawn. On the couch with Dawn and Eli live. Navigating the modern world with Coach Eli. Wow, he's doing a Halloween live stream, apparently. There we go. Thank you, Joe. On the couch with Dawn and Eli live. Happy Halloween. It's 3:30 in the morning my time. Holy shit. I don't think I'll be up for that one. Did anybody else check out my latest track? No, I haven't checked it out, Gordo, because you literally put it in there 5 minutes ago. Thought the Eli crap had stopped. We will never stop. Yes, apparently he's going live on the trail this afternoon to prove he's not banned. Then he's doing an on the couch with Dawn and Eli to prove that she apparently still lives with him. Evidence to the contrary there, dear Eli. Even if she does a live stream with you, proves nothing. In my eyes, it proves nothing. So Tammy's I've got 4 hours before Tammy goes live this evening. So plenty of time. So yeah, I did see Eli's stream this morning. He did an impromptu stream and basically had a go at Tammy. Mr. Pot calling the kettle black. It is funny how he claims he hasn't mentioned us in a while. I mean, he's mentioned Tammy repeatedly for months. He mentioned me, 24 hours ago? But claims he doesn't talk about us. But he literally talked about me on a live stream because he even said the Midnight Raven. Actually said my name. So you're a fair game now, Eli. You mentioned my name and thou shalt have my attention. I hope you're happy. Oh God, you are all running his life. It's funny. Yeah, I mean, Eli's always been an interesting character. Let's not paint it differently. He's an interesting character. Eli says Raven has the hots for him. I would sooner go for Gordo or Joe Buddy or anybody on YouTube. Give me anybody. Lycan. I'd have Lycan in a heartbeat over Eli. I bet that make his day. I'd have Lycan in a heartbeat over Eli. I'd have Gordo over Eli. I'd have half the community over Eli any time of day. Just saying. And that's not because Gordo's got a Jag and he lives in a fancy area. It's just that he's a decent human being, which Eli lacks. No one wants the Greek god, as he calls himself, okay? He went through how many women on Match.com? How many women did he go through? He'll never tell you the actual number because, Match probably just went, look, mate, I'm sorry, but I don't think any woman would ever want you. Would be my personal. Yeah, Gordo makes good music. See, he's also got talent. But no, he was talking about us this morning because he just cannot keep our names out of his mouth. He was talking about me yesterday. He was talking about Tammy today. But we're the ones obsessed. Yes, I sat there yesterday talking about domestic violence as a topic. We were talking just in general on how hard it is to get out of a relationship that you are stuck in if things are constricting, like where you live, how much money you have. And, he just happened to stumble on my channel, just walking along and just went, oh, Raven's live. Let's just sneak on in there. For somebody who, supposedly doesn't support my channel, isn't subscribed to me, I hadn't actually done, I want to say, a proper stream on Eli in a while, like a proper going for him stream. But he magically, after I did an impromptu live stream, it wasn't promoted. I literally just went live yesterday morning. He just magically turned up and was just magically watching it. Who knew I had such big fans that stalk my channel? Happy Halloween. Thank you, Holly. He is triggered. It's funny. I triggered him yesterday. Tammy took her turn today. I still don't understand why he's triggered. The thing is, if you're innocent, you wouldn't be so triggered. Is that a thing? Innocence doesn't make you triggered? Because people were... Should you not be more happy that people were actually concerned for your girlfriend? They were actually concerned that it was your girlfriend that was having the domestic violence call and that things had escalated from just her crying in the car to a more intense argument. If it had been somebody else and there had been exactly the same thing for, say, Anna and J-Roll, and we were concerned, say, about Anna's welfare, I'm sure Tammy would have done exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. Because it's not about showing you up, Eli. Domestic violence is an important thing. It's not about showing you up. It was not about targeting you to get your channel took down. It was about how safe Dawn was. Because aside from the fact that Dawn does run her mouth, she is a human being. She is a woman with limited means, stuck in what we want to class as a dead-end relationship with no real prospects. She hadn't been on live streams in a while. She hadn't been in the chat. We hadn't heard the dogs. there was a crime within the area, in the vicinity of where you normally would walk. I'm sorry that it paints a picture here that it was you. We can only, in my humble regards, apologize for the said accusation that you were accusing us of. But if it had been an occasion where it had been J-Rom, it was that location, it was near where him and Anna lived. Anna hadn't been seen for a while. She hadn't been in the chat. Unless J-Ron could give a good enough reason, you may suspect that it was the same thing. 2 and 2 together. All you had to do yesterday when this accusation came out was produce Dawn. All you had to do was go in the other room and say, Dawn, can you just come in here for a sec? Just tell everybody that you're perfectly fine and you're still here. And you could have done that. But instead, you wanted to create drama so that you can go on Hot Facts with Robert Reese tonight and have a reason to talk about drama. Literally, that's all the interview with Robert is. It's going to be to slag Pedro off, to slag Hannibal off, to slag Torp off, probably go at Mr. Flex, have a bitch about us. It's not really an interview, is it? It's a roast with Coach Eli. What was the name mentioned for post memes in the Discord? Was my name mentioned for post memes? And I don't know. He talked about your son earlier this year. Yeah, he went for my son earlier this year. So Eli's fair game. Eli was talking about my son, telling him I was a terrible parent. Years ago, he actually tried to coerce my son when he was a minor. Remember that, Eli? Trying to want to have my son message you behind the scenes while he was a minor? Oh, yeah. We remember facts like that. Me and Bodacious go back. He also cried wife a few times. Of course, people will speculate. If a situation happens in an area that you not only walk, that you called a family emergency, that you stopped a stream because of this thing happening, Dawn disappears. I'm sorry, but it's like Inspector Clouseau, put the clues together, and that's what you come up with. When you were then asked to produce Dawn, you couldn't. In the live stream yesterday, I said to you that if you were innocent, the best thing you could do was to produce Dawn. Bring her on camera, prove she was fine, she was okay. You couldn't do it. You couldn't do it yesterday. You kept saying they're just making accusations. Dawn is safe and well. Then put her on camera. If Dawn is that safe and well and she was in the other room sleeping, what would the harm be? Because it wouldn't be the first time she's come on the stream impromptu or come in the room while you're streaming. You took your headphones off. Why not just bring her in and go, Dawn, just tell the camera you're perfectly fine. She didn't even have to be on camera. Just have her voice. Just say, yes, I'm fine. Nothing to worry about. It would have all been done with, but you couldn't do that. You couldn't do that. You had to go and do another live stream and then do another live stream this morning when you could have just brought her on camera. Instead, you've played up the drama so that when you go on Hot Facts with Robert Reese tonight, you have some drama to talk about. Because if not, it would be the most boring interview the channel's probably ever seen, Eli. You're creating drama for your interview, and then you're creating more drama for when you go on Pedro's. You're drama mongering before your events because you want people to be there, because if not, it's just you talking the same stories to the crowd of the gig economy who are not really interested and they don't care, because no one actually cares about you in the gig economy apart from like 2 people in your chat who honestly they're just not interested. I'm sorry, but all this gig stuff, you give it 6 months, it'll be a thing of the past. They'll all disperse. You do it with every community. You swoop in, you mess around, you create some drama, create some friction, people hate you, you move on. It's how you do it. You might pick up a few stragglers here and there, but it's not enough to sustain your channel. The gig economy wouldn't sustain your channel because not only do they not like you, you don't even work in the gig economy. You did 4 months, Eli. You want a round of applause? You got out there for 4 months. You earned some money. You bitched every day about a job that you now apparently want to save. And you want gig rights, although you don't work in it. That would be me fighting for Tammy to have better teacher rights when I'm not a teacher myself. Why would you put so much into something that you don't do yourself? I'm not saying you can't be like, look, they really should have better rights. I've not only experienced DoorDash and all of this, and, you know, now he's not working for DoorDash. He quit. He quit DoorDash. He quit Uber Eats. He quit. He'd had enough because he said it was just underpaid and too much work. So he basically flaked. He flaked. He's a flaker. He's one of these guys that'll do a job for a couple of months, and when the shit hits the fan or it gets too hard and he has to take a break, you know. He then claimed he wanted to do more YouTube stuff. Yeah, he wants to do more YouTube stuff because apparently YouTube is more profitable. I don't think it's more profitable. I mean, doing YouTube, yeah, you may earn a couple of hundred, but that's because people donate to you, which means not only do you have to create content, but you also have to get people that want to donate to you. You think Bravo's, what was it, 99 cents a day when you have to make, what is it, $100 before you get paid, Eli? Come on. Do the numbers, Eli. Unless you're getting a substantial amount of donations, like I was at one point where I was getting like 150 a stream sometimes. Yeah, not making that amount of money. Yeah, I don't make 150 a stream now. Am I bothered? No, because I have an actual job, which makes me money. And I had other incomes outside of YouTube and my job. So this is a hobby. I don't need to make it into a business. Would I love to do YouTube full time? I don't know. I'm not sure I would. I do like the steadiness of going to work and then doing this on my days off. Yeah, it's not a steady income. YouTube could go out of business tomorrow and Eli would have nothing. What would be his fallback? You got to see that, yes, Google, you know, multi-billion company, whatever, but it could go out of business tomorrow. They could change the rules. They could make monetization harder to get. They could make it so you actually had to have real subs, Eli. There's a thing. You know, I suspect Raven has an OF page. Now, I do have exterior income, but I don't have a trust fund. I'm not a trust fund baby. I don't have an estate. I don't have the luxuries that obviously Eli claims to have. So if YouTube was to suddenly go, would he be financially sound? Probably. He seems to think this will be the jumping point to his career. I still don't see it somehow. I'm still missing this as the jumping point to bigger things. Although I do believe he's working an angle with Pedro, with Hannibal, with Hot Facts, where he's trying to get them to all come together so that he can do a podcast, which he knows if Hannibal and Pedro were doing the podcast, it would make money. And then he can swoop in there like he tried to do with the King and the Cuck show, because JB was making money and so was Lycan. Obviously, Lycan wasn't a part of the King and the Cuck show, but Lycan has made money off of the back of Eli. And Eli's always tried to go where the money is. So JB was making money, so he said about doing the King and the Cuck show because he knew JB had a following. Then he tried to get on the coattails of Lycan because he had a following. And Lycan was having, what, 200-300 people in the chat, you know, up until recently. Yes, his numbers have dropped slightly, but still. And then on top of that, you now get Pedro and Hannibal. They've got a big following. People like them. And he wants to swoop in there and be like, yes, we should all be bros and high-fiving and doing a podcast together. It's just like another King in the Cuck show. He just wants to be, unfortunately, he's going to be the butt of every joke. The butt of every joke. And he just doesn't see it. He's walking into a proverbial trap, isn't he? Let's be honest. He's trying to put all his eggs in one basket. He honestly believes wholeheartedly that this YouTube shit will pan out for him. He's so fixated on it that he can't see anything else going on around him. He thinks walking on a trail one day, yelling and screaming about Pedro and Hannibal and Torp and Flex and Cherry and us and Tammy and J-Rom is really going to make him some money. He's missing the life coaching part. It still amazes me that he keeps the coach part, but I don't see him coach anyone. Currently, it's just a drama channel again, which he claims and will continue to claim it's example purposes only. Okay, so if it's example purposes only, here's the thing. That then means that whatever Tammy did this morning with the information she had and the investigation she did was for example purposes only, to show that if you had a fellow friend that had had an incident that you believe they were involved in, you could use public records to check that, to follow it up, and to see if it was your friend. She was doing a public service by showing that you can get public records if you believe that your friend has had a domestic violence incident and that you wanted to check on them. So it was a example purposes stream. I know, Eli, you're not going to like that because, yeah, educational. Exactly, Tammy. See, you want to spin it, Eli, that we literally have gone real life on you. It's not real life. When we were, not only did we not say it was you, and you can go back to my stream yesterday. It is unlisted currently, but if you want to watch it from the start to finish, Eli, we said, and we quote, that we didn't think it was Dawn, but we were hoping that it wasn't her. We never said it was her. We said that we hoped that the DV wasn't Dawn, because if it was Dawn, we were afraid for her. And if it wasn't Dawn, then we hoped the person that had the DV was fine. We never said your name, per se. Tammy just showed that if you needed to look up an event that happened in your area that was, slightly suspicious, being the word, it was educational to know that if you wanted to gain a public record of an event that happened, whether it was a DV, a drive-by shooting, car accident, you can look it up on the public record, and check when the ambulance was sent, when the police were sent. You can check all of that. It's educational. Why get so upset if it wasn't her? Yeah. The only reason we were looking into this, because it is coincidental that it was on the same day you didn't do the interview. It was around the same time, giving you enough time to cancel the interview, and it happened in a roundabout same area. Dawn hadn't been seen, the dogs hadn't been seen, she hadn't been in the chat, she hadn't been in a live stream. You're telling me that if that had been somebody else that had been friends of your channel, this had happened, you're telling me you wouldn't have looked to see if they were okay? Yeah, same day as the family emergency, in the same area that you walk in. She hasn't been seen. The dogs haven't been seen. She's not typed in the chat. She's been missing since that day. That would suggest, in a roundabout way, that you had an argument. She left. She's probably gone to her mother's. She's been gone for the week, stayed at her mother's. You've been trying to get her to come back. And then this evening, when you plan to do a live stream, she's come back from her mother's and you want to sweep it all under the rug saying she's been there the entire time. I personally not buying it. I wholly believe that you two, whether it was that emergency, the DV, you had a fight. She went to her mother's and left. She's been gone all week. Just admit it, Eli. She was gone all week, okay? The interview was meant to happen. She had an argument with you. She left. She's coming back this evening, hence you doing the live stream. Just admit you had a Barney and she left. If you have such a healthy, wholesome, transparent relationship, tell them. Things got a little heated. She went to stay with her mother. She's now come back. We're all good. It's not that hard to be transparent. It just isn't. Did he say the one only gets triggered if it's the truth? Why is he triggered if it's wrong? I don't know. Hashtag where's Dawn? I don't know if it will happen. I don't even know if the interview with Pedro will happen tomorrow. I highly doubt it. But that is my theory. You want to take my name, I'm the Midnight Raven, or Donna, as you doxed me yesterday, Eli. Thank you for that. But I believe you had a Barney on that day. Whether it was that DV in that area, I don't believe so. Now that we've looked further, I do believe you had a Barney. I believe she left. She took the dogs and herself to her mother's. You probably drove her there. She's been gone all week because she hasn't been in your chats. The dogs haven't been around. That's what I believe. I believe she's coming home this evening from being at her mother's all week. You've probably been talking it out, hence constantly being on your phone, checking and texting. And I think she'll come home this evening. You two will be claiming that you're all hunky-dory. She hadn't gone away, and you'll be lying once again. She went away to her mother's for the week after you two had a bit of a Barney. Just come out and be hashtag transparent. For once on YouTube as a couple, come out and just say you had a Barney, she went to her mother's, we're all good now. It doesn't take much to be honest to your audience. What does take a lot is to conspire, make drama, and just drama mill your entire relationship for an entire community to talk about. Seriously. If it wasn't some ugly domestic violence incident, hey, example purpose. Yeah, just come out and just say you had a bit of a Barney, which means an argument in the UK. If you didn't know what a bit of a Barney is, Eli, you know. I don't know how illiterate you are with UK lingo, but you had a bit of a Barney. Yeah, you had a disagreement, an altercation, a difference of opinion, however you want to sugarcoat it, okay? Tarnish it however you want, okay? You're separated. She went to her mother's. You've had a week to reconsolidate. She's coming back tonight because obviously she wouldn't miss the Hot Facts with Robert Reese stream. And then you're doing On the Couch with Dawn this evening for Halloween. Good for you. I hope Dawn is fine. I hope she just went to her mother's. I hope that you had a bit of a disagreement, that she's coming back. There you go, Eli. Problem solved. All you had to do was to just produce Dawn, which you couldn't do because Dawn wasn't there. Dawn was at her mother's, wasn't she, Eli, huh? Dawn was at her mother's after you had a disagreement. which you could have just said you had a bit of a Barney, she's gone to her mum's. There's nothing that I hate more than somebody like a therapist, a psychiatrist, a life coach, anybody that deals with that kind of thing, that just can't be honest and just say, yeah, we had a Barney. She went to her mum's. How many of us in the chat can say that we've never had a Barney with our significant other? And if things get a bit too heated throughout the years, you haven't gone and left and gone to a family member, a friend, stayed at a work colleague's house the night after having a bit of a Barney. You then go back either a day later, the next day, or a couple of days later. You have a talk, you reconsolidate, and you go back home. I mean, we can all say that's happened at some point or another. I've had a Barney before, left, gone to a friend's house, stayed the night, reconsolidated, spoke to the person, and then gone back the next day. We all do it. The fact is, you want to so portray that this relationship just doesn't have any flaws. You literally want to portray that this is the most perfect relationship that YouTube has ever seen. You don't have Barneys, you just have a little bit of a disagreement. You know, you don't have raised words. You know, like, come on, people. Your relationship can be painted however you want to paint it, Eli. But it's what we see with the two eyes which really gets you. Because when you have Dawn on camera, you can't hide true facts. Dawn, the other day, when she was in that car, she was upset. She was crying. She was physically, verbally upset. Any decent human being, and everyone in the chat will tell you that if I was live streaming with my significant other and they were in tears, proper tears, and they were saying they wanted the live stream to stop, what did you care more about? Her well-being or your live stream at that time? And every time it would be your live stream. The reason that we portray and the reason you want to portray such a rosy relationship is because if you start to have cracks in your relationship, it makes it harder for you to then tell everybody how their relationship should be if yours is then seeming to fail. And I get that. But you're also portraying that relationships are 100% perfect. And they're just not. I'm sorry. They're just not. You can't portray that everything is fucking rosy 24/7. Seriously, Eli. We have seen ourselves that it's not. Yeah, you cannot portray that your relationship is perfect. We're fine. We're perfect. We're okay. Have Dawn tell us that herself. I don't also like how you speak for her. You literally came on there and said, oh, Dawn doesn't like this, Dawn doesn't like that, Dawn doesn't like this. Why can't Dawn speak for herself? Why is it that any scenario that has ever happened on YouTube, you make a live stream, right? And then you speak for Dawn. Dawn doesn't even have a voice on YouTube. Have you seen the FNAF movie yet? That is good. I don't know what that is. They said it. FNA. What's FNAF? I've lost my train of thought. Yes, portraying a relationship that has cracks would be more believable than portraying a relationship that was 100% perfect. Because there's no way a relationship can be 100% perfect. It actually makes you more real to have cracks. Five Nights at Freddy's. Oh, no, I haven't watched that. Yeah, a Barney is an argument in the UK. Yeah, having a bit of a Barney. It's just the UK expression. Having a Barney. Sorry. You have to deal with us English lingo, you know, because We're obviously illiterate because of how we talk in the UK. I'm sorry, Gordo. We're illiterate, okay? To Eli, we're just illiterate. We're just making up random words. But my point of the matter is this all could have just simmered under the radar if when this arose and the family emergency had happened, if it is the fact you had an argument with Dawn and she went to her mother's, why not just be genuinely honest? I have more faith in people in the medical field, if you want to call it that, where it comes to coaching, therapists, counselors. Honesty. Honesty is always the best policy. Always the best policy. Being 100% upfront, direct, and to the point, transparency is always the best route. Because you know why, Eli? We're going to tell you. If you lie, like you did with Dawn's DUI, people can find out stuff. We found out the DUI, you didn't take her to hospital that day, she was going to court. It's not that hard in this day and age to track people, to find things out. And most of the stuff, I would say a good 99% of the stuff that's ever been acquired is public record. And it's, you can... The other thing that got me, and it was this. The fact that you're like, we always do background checks. We always do background checks. Yes, I've done background checks before. If I have some people come to my channel and I wholeheartedly want to believe that they are decent people, but I've heard from other people that they're a bit shady, which I have done, there's nothing wrong with fact-checking people that you surround yourself with. In fact, I would say fact-checking somebody that you're surrounding yourself with is perfectly normal. You're telling me that you've never been on a date with a woman, had one date with her, and then not background checked her. You're telling me you've never background checked any of the women you've wanted to date, Eli, to check whether they've been in jail, drugs, alcohol. You're telling me you've never back-checked a date before? I would never go on a date with a man without background checking him. Because it's called common sense. Why would you then put so much faith in the people that you have on YouTube, that you surround yourself with, that has maybe your phone number, your email address? They're easily traceable to where you live. So why wouldn't you check the people that you surround yourself with on YouTube? You probably do it in your real life. You background check girlfriends. I highly guarantee it that you backtrack and back check everybody. Yeah? Do you not? Just saying. You can't say that we're like, we background check for the sake of drama. We back check and fact check for the sake of being safe. Yeah, he somehow missed all the red flags with Dawn. Yeah. So when you were like, well, Tammy what was it? You said that we just seem to back check everybody. Well, why wouldn't you? Seriously. He has said he did, yeah. Why wouldn't you back check people? Tammy and me and a lot of other people were concerned it was Dawn. Luckily, as the information shows, that it wasn't Dawn, okay? The fact that we cared enough to check should say something. It should speak volumes. That we actually cared enough to check. It's not about making you look bad. But it makes you look bad when you don't come out with the truth just like that. You put it out there enough that we then have to check what you're saying, because you have an uncannily way of making excuses and then going, oh, well, we were going to tell you, or we should have told you, or we were going to tell you, and it's only once you've been found out, you'd be much better off just to come out with it, because then we wouldn't have to back check you and fact check you all the time. Angie's List is a thing for a reason. Yeah, you always need to be cautious of the people that you not only surround yourself with on YouTube, but also in your personal life. So when we were concerned for the well-being of a human being who is a female, who we know for a fact that you are emotionally abusing, we've seen it on camera, you can argue as much as you like. We were concerned, we checked, we found that it wasn't her. I do hope Dawn is safe and well. More likely she's away from you, and good for her. But if you just come out with the truth every time, Eli, we wouldn't have to check you. We wouldn't be background checking. We wouldn't be fact checking. We wouldn't be getting police reports. If you just came out and said, yeah, we had a disagreement, she went to her mother's. Jesus Christ, everybody's had that kind of thing. Eli probably sees red flags as a bonus. The more messed up, the better he can manipulate a level-headed person. I did say quite often, I have reiterated that I believe that he was looking for a project. I do believe he wasn't looking for somebody that was perfect. I think he was looking for someone who had parts missing that he could fill, basically. If someone accuses a friend or acquaintance of something serious, I usually look into it. Or if someone we know is causing trouble. Yeah, if I thought that a friend of mine had been involved in a DV situation, I would have checked police reports to see if anything that day had happened, especially if I hadn't have heard from her. There are people out there, that care for, human beings. Yes, I hate you, Eli, but I also am not a complete bitch when it comes to that kind of situation where if Dawn, had been involved in that kind of situation, I would hope that she was fine. And I said that yesterday on a live stream. I hoped it wasn't Dawn. I hoped it wasn't Dawn. I also then hoped it was Dawn, because if it was Dawn, then she'd probably be getting away from you. It was the 50-50 chance of, in my case, two sides of a bad coin. Either she was the victim, and I hope she was fine, or she wasn't the victim, and God forbid she was still with you. His dating stories tell us that anyone that made since he called masculine and undateable. Yeah. I'm too masculine because I am too highly opinionated. I don't stay in my lane, as he calls it. For example, if someone's accused of hurting animals, I take that stuff seriously. So do I. Animal cruelty, child cruelty. If I thought for a second that a friend of mine had been involved in something, I would check. It's called having a heart. It's called caring. Yes, I'd love to see the demise of Eli. God, would I? I've spent 6 or 7 years wanting the demise of him. Wanting the absolute demise of his channel. Do I wish harm on Dawn? Absolutely not. Dawn, in this respect, is just collateral damage at this point. She is collateral damage to whatever bullshit Eli brings her into. He brought her onto YouTube. He made her a public figure. He made her play a game. He made her the draw to his channel, however you want to put it. But she's also the Horcrux to the channel. because he's so fixated on her. You can't even go on a stream now without going to check her. You're constantly looking at your phone. You're constantly looking at the cameras. I've never watched a more paranoid person in all my life. I don't know what he's expecting, whether some people are going to turn up at his house or the fact he keeps looking at the camera 24/7. The poor bitch can't even sleep without this guy watching him. Even on the trail, he's constantly going off screen to text her. He said it himself. He looked at her on the screen, putting laundry away while he was walking on the live stream. He literally cannot rely on her to be on her own for what, an hour's live stream? And half the time he claims she's sleeping and he's still looking up there. He's still texting on his phone to her. It's obsessive to a point where this woman cannot even sleep without being watched. And I don't know about you, but if you've ever had a relationship when it first starts and you start staying over that person's house, the creepy feeling of laying in the bed and then just sitting there that morning with their arms folded or whatever, just sitting there watching you sleep. Watching you sleep. Is there anything more creepy than somebody watching you sleep? Okay, once you're in a relationship, I guess it becomes normal. But it's still weird. If my kids had just stood there and they were just watching me sleep, I'd be like, what do you want? It's weird. I wouldn't even have my partner stand there and watch me sleep. It's a little bit too creepy for my liking. If you're watching Dawn, stay strong. Eli's a total creep. I hope that becomes clear by now. Thank you, Seven, for that. Yeah. We were doing, in my eyes, a public service. You're a gobshite, basically. There you go. Gordo said it. You're a gobshite, Eli. Yeah, again, emotional abuse. He's watching his CCTV. He's a prepper in his bunker on Doomsday. No, he's literally watching her like a hawk. She literally cannot do anything. She can't text somebody because he can watch on the camera. He can listen in to every phone call with her mother. I don't know if they can hear sound. I don't know how sophisticated his little setup is. Whether he can hear sound, like if he was watching the camera from the trail and she was on a phone call to her mother, can he hear what she's saying on the cameras? I don't know how sophisticated CCTV is now that you can get to your phone. But he said he was watching her doing laundry. If she was having a phone call, could he listen in? Could he listen on the CCTV? How sophisticated do you have to go to be able to do that? You know, I almost hit my ex's kid. I woke up to his creepy face and inch from mine. I shoved this away and come up fists ready to swing. Freaked me out, yeah. If someone was sitting, you know, in bed with me and they were like just staring at me, or they were coming in the room and they were just standing over me, it's just fucking creepy. And to be watched on camera, I mean, you literally can't take a shit without him knowing about it. It does concern me that if the camera had sound, that even her conversations to her mother wouldn't even be private, or to her daughter. He'd be able to listen to everything. So if she was having, like, say she was having a bad day with Eli, and she'd phoned her mother to have a vent of saying that this, you know, little shit and everything, and having a go, he'd hear everything. It's a bit concerning. I wouldn't have CCTV in my house. It might be in the bathroom too. He's weird enough. What, in case she has a seizure while she's having a bath or a shower? Oh no. Oh, that's creepy, bodacious. The creepy factor would be if he could listen to it. If he could be like sitting in traffic and just watching the camera you know, texting her saying, I'm coming home soon, baby. What you doing? And he was checking what she was doing. Audio cameras are cheap, but it wouldn't be hard to believe he'd buy them. No, that's what I'm saying. Whether he'd be, you know, because he does his walks on the trail, and most of the time he does the walks on the trail, it seems like she calls her mother, mainly because Eli's not there. You know, it would seem to me that maybe he wanted to keep tabs on her, what she's doing, who she's talking to. It's a bit OTT to love somebody and care for them that much. Now the cameras are meant to be for the seizures she's having, which I can see, but you could just buy a panic alarm. There is such things as panic alarms. You don't have to have CCTV in your house. You have a panic alarm, which she wears constantly. And if she was to have a seizure or a fall, she can press the panic alarm and it would send a panic to his phone. And he would then obviously race home. You don't necessarily have to have CCTV. Because unless you're watching that CCTV every minute of every hour of every day, she could still have a fall and you wouldn't know, or she could have a seizure and you wouldn't know. The best way to keep tabs on someone that has seizures is a panic alarm, which they wear around them. We have panic alarms at work that I have to wear in case we're robbed or something happens, and it goes straight through to the ambulance department or the police or the fire, and you just press it and it sends out an SOS. And that sends out an SOS to a phone or the company or the police or fire or whoever you need as an emergency. You don't have to CCTV camera your entire fucking abode. You literally have a panic alarm, an app that goes onto your phone that sends you a panic and automatically sends an alert to an ambulance. You don't have to CCTV your house like you're in fucking Alcatraz or something. She's not an escaped convict. For fuck's sake. You know, my ex knows the guys that does that. Those webcams can be hacked as well. Yeah. It just seems a little too over the top. Like a little bit, we have Life Alert in the UK. Yeah. It's basically a little device. You press it and it has an SOS on it. It's generally for people that have epilepsy, diabetes, where they'll have a hypo or a dip. People who are prone to dizziness. I myself am prone to fainting. I have anemia. I have an iron deficiency. I have low blood pressure. I actually have a bracelet that I wear when I'm at work that takes my blood pressure every hour to keep an eye on it. So I do have a tendency to faint, to black out. But you don't have CCTV cameras in my house. And I have a tendency to black out and faint. And I've had it since I was a little girl. But I haven't put CCTV cameras in my house so that someone can watch me 24/7, because that would be fucking creepy. Hey, chat sock. I'm going to guess that's Sarah. Those cameras have zero to do with her seizures. I do believe they have zero to do with her seizures. I do believe that he is just a creepy cuck. But, you know, I do have a health condition myself that I could put cameras up in my house so that my son could watch me, my ex could keep an eye on me, my sisters could watch me, whoever would need to come to me if I was to black out or to faint, which I have done before. I spent most of my childhood blacking out and fainting quite a lot due to my iron deficiency and my low levels. But I could just have a panic button. My boss was surprised he did not have panic buttons in the US labs. He originally worked out of the UK. Yeah, I have a panic button at work. We have a panic button at work if there's anybody that needs assistance or we are robbed. We have cameras in the house to keep an eye on the kids and the nanny when we weren't home. Exactly. That kind of thing you can understand. If you or Anna and you are going to go away for a couple of days, a week, a month, and you're going to leave your kids with a nanny, you don't know whether your house would be broken into. Home invasions are obviously quite high in America. They're not so much in the UK, but home invasions and all that happen in America quite a lot. You've only got to have like a raccoon trip your cameras over there, and because you've got so much wildlife. Half the time it's just like a raccoon's knocked over a trash can, but it's our peace of mind. In the UK, we don't get many home invasions, if I'm really honest. It is not as common, but we didn't have audio on our cameras. No, yours is more for the protection of your family. Obviously, when you and Anna used to do the trucking and used to leave the nanny, America is it's not as safe in America. That's different. A nanny is an employee of JROM, and you need to make sure that your kids are fine. You need to make sure the house is fine. It's an entirely different situation because, like you said, Dordo, she's an employee. You leave your children with her. You need to make sure the children are fine, the nanny is fine, the house is fine. But watching your girlfriend sleep while you do the shopping, it's a bit much, isn't it? They were only in the living, dining room and kitchen plus outside. Yeah, nothing untoward. It's just a bit weird, just imagine yourself going to the supermarket to do your shopping and you're looking at cameras of your wife sleeping in the house. It's a little creepy. At that point, if you don't trust your significant other to be alone in the house and you need cameras because, you're out of the house quite a lot, or you've gone for an hour and a half on a walk and you don't trust her, I mean, yeah, no bedrooms or bathroom. That's weird. No watching people sleep. No watching people dress. And no watching people doing their bathroom stuff, because that's just nasty. If you have to be that desperate that you need to watch your significant other sleeping and breathing constantly, you have bigger issues in life. Because if you can't leave the house for an hour and a half without panicking that your significant other is doing either something untoward or something they shouldn't be, then I think the relationship is doomed at that point. And the fact that she asked for the cameras, I honestly, I cannot get my head around that she would want Eli watching her 24/7. Especially when she came in the chat and when she found out he was watching her doing laundry, she said it was creepy. Now you're telling me she thinks that's creepy, him watching her do laundry, but she asked for the cameras to be in the house. Why would she say it's creepy then? You have a lot of answering to do, Eli, and you never really have the answers, do you? There's always that little bit of a dig going like, oh, but she asked for the cameras, so now I can just watch her 24/7 and it's perfectly fine because Dawn said so. Always got a get out clause, haven't we, Eli, to your weird fuckery. Eli is terrified she'll leave him. Dawn told Holly that Eli has severe separation anxiety. Yeah. She literally cannot sleep on the couch without him watching her. And every time she makes a noise in the house, he's got to check on her. So Dawn's awake. So fucking what? People wake up. I don't necessarily have to spy on my significant other on how long they're sleeping. when they're awake. They've made a cup of coffee. I don't need to know what my significant other is going to do when I go to work. I have good faith that when I go to work, my significant other would be getting up, getting dressed, making some breakfast, doing some housework, maybe running some errands. If they were cheating on you, doing something untoward, shit comes out in the end. It always does. You can't hide cheating, scheming, or lying forever, however you want to do it. Even putting cameras in the house. But cameras don't catch everything. There are black spots. Bathrooms, bedrooms, hopefully. Dear God, I hope you don't watch her sleep. Outside, I'm sure there are places the cameras can't reach. You can't be everywhere and everywhere. You just can't be everywhere all the time. Hope you're feeling much better today. Oh, thank you, Aries. Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm live streaming for Halloween. So if anybody wants to donate and give me a treat this Halloween, I haven't done my usual dressing up and decorating because obviously I've been suffering with my mental health recently, which, you know, Eli, jump on that bandwagon all you fucking want, my friend. Yes, I have mental health. You want to make something of it? Go a fucking head. My ex did 3 times, only found out once. We ended. Yeah, but I don't want my significant other spying on me. I don't want a camera in my house. I don't want to know they know every time I made a cup of coffee. Do you know what I mean? It's creepy. It's creepy. But going back to the whole Dawn being okay, he's apparently doing a live stream this evening with her, and if he is, kudos to him. I hope Dawn comes on camera. I hope she's perfectly fine. Maybe she'll have the balls to explain where she's been all week compared to Eli. Why doesn't she just turn around and say, look, Eli, let's stop the bullshit. We had an argument. I went to my mum's. Why lie about it? Stop painting your 100% supposed perfect relationship and just be honest that it's not perfect. Just do the decent thing, Eli. Yes, I agree. There should be trust between partners, but women are like built-in lie detector tests. It is easy. I mean, I can spot a bullshitter from a mile away. There are certain cues you can look out for. When you know, you know. Yeah, there are certain cues. There are definitely blind spots. It's insane what my ex and I got away with at the student union buildings at uni. Ooh, bodacious. I'm not going to ask about that. I can probably guess. There's always a blank spot in the library. Just saying. What am I talking about? How dare you? But thank you to supposedly there's 13 people. If you're watching, Eli, thank you for watching. I don't know if he is, but I mean, he's probably not even slept, dear boy. But I've said nothing in this that I wouldn't say to his face. Just letting you know. I knew all 3 times, but couldn't prove it right until the end. But my gut kept screaming at me. Yeah, women's intuition. Women's intuition. But this is Raven's Halloween Treat Fest. So once again, I want to thank Bodacious, who donated, I can't remember, hang on, $5 super chat earlier, super sticker earlier to my Halloween Treat Fest. If anybody else would like to donate to the channel, it does help fund my bitching of Eli. We've been live for an hour and 4 minutes. Obviously, Tammy is going live this evening. J-Rom's been live today. Tammy went live this morning. Eli even graced his presence this morning for a morning live stream, which was amazing to watch while I was walking my 6 miles home. That was interesting in the rain. But I walked 6 miles today, Eli. I actually walk more than you ever will. And I did that this morning before I'd even had breakfast. I walked 6 miles. I had a McDonald's. I watched Tammy stream. I watched J-Rom stream once I got home. I watched Eli's stream while I was walking home. And then I have done a stream now in between J-Rom streaming and Tammy streaming this evening. We have the Hot Facts with Robert Reese interview with Eli tonight, which I will not be going to Robert's channel to watch it because I don't want to give him any views because unfortunately he supports Eli, which doesn't sit well with me. So I will not be there. I will be elsewhere, but I will be hearing and seeing everything. So don't you worry, Eli. Wouldn't miss your interview for all the money in the world. Aside from that, Eli is also doing a Halloween stream on the couch with Dawn this evening at 3:30 my time. I'm not sure what that is the rest of the world. If you go to his channel, you will see it's on there. We highly believe that the stream will be cancelled, that the Robert Reese thing will either overflow or be extended, and then that would get pushed back, which means Dawn then wouldn't be on camera because he's so trying to prove that she's there. What you can't prove, Eli, is just by bringing her on tonight, it doesn't disprove the fact that she's been gone all week to her mother's after you two had a fight. You still can't prove that, right? My wife can always detect my bullshit, even if it's the form of a joke. Oh, bodacious. You gotta watch this women's intuition. Women, unfortunately, as you will know, women have a sixth sense on women have a sixth sense when it comes to men. You know, you either know your stuff or you don't. And I wouldn't say I've been round the block when it comes to men. I've had a few relationships in my time. But I can tell when something's amiss. Like, women's intuition is a very powerful thing. It's a very powerful thing to know, but it's also a very powerful thing to know how to use it. Because there's no point just going round with like wild accusations. But a woman not only will go around with an accusation, but she'll generally have the shit to back it up. Because we don't go like headlong into like something if we we don't have the stuff to back it up. We're not crazy when it comes to that kind of thing. If we're going to dive in and accuse somebody of something, we have a gut feeling, a sense, and I'm going to tell you that 8 out of 10 times at least we're right. Not saying we're perfect, not saying we get it right 100% of the time. Don't even try to come at me with that. But I am saying that most times a woman can tell. And I think a man can tell too. I think in this day and age, if something's amiss or peculiar or strange or a little bit, it is easy to tell. There are telltale signs. Like when Eli's telling a story and he'll look up to one side compared to the other. Because there's telltale signs that police use in interrogations to see whether you are telling the truth or you are lying. And it is very easy. Somebody who is telling the truth will sit perfectly still and just talk. Somebody who is lying will constantly fidget, have to move around. Also, if you are telling the truth, you tend to look up to one side compared to the other, because one side of your brain has actual memories. The other side is where you are fabricating a story. because you're not accessing the memories. There are ways of looking at somebody's eyes and telling if they're lying. If they're looking dead at you and they're talking and their eyes aren't moving left to right, like they're trying to like avoid eye contact, 90% of the time, if they're looking like side to side, they're lying. Or they're trying to avoid you, because as soon as you catch their eye, they've got you. There are other things as well. You know, how you lean, how you hold your posture. There are many ways to tell somebody if they're lying. Many, many ways. Sweating's a good one. Sweating here, down your face and everything. Sweat is a good one to tell if somebody's lying, because you know, you raise your body temperature by, you know, the blood pressure, because people that lie, their blood pressure and their heartbeat elevates just slightly, which means you perfuse a bit more and you perspire a bit more. There are telltale signs with moving your hands and rubbing. The more you touch with a woman, if she's lying, you know, sometimes it's easy to tell because they'll like twirl their hair and they'll be like, well, you know, I only did, you know, there's telltale signs for lying for both male and female. Some are more obvious than others, you know, and some aren't. And half the time you can tell some of the stories Eli makes up by the way he looks, by the way he rubs his hands, just by the way he acts. You can tell he lies. And he's good at it. To his audience. He's not good to the people that watch him like me constantly. But if you were to just walk in there, you would believe every story he ever told. Because he is kind of over dramatic when he comes to his stories. He wants you to believe that they are so amazing that you need to listen to them. But we've heard them all the time. And half the time, some of the stories have changed over the years. Little bits have been embellished. Little bits have changed. The core of the matter is that I don't believe half the stories he tells. Like when he says, oh, me and Dawn were talking about this and this was said and that was said. I honestly can't believe she'd be that boring to talk about it 24/7. Or could she? I mean, 50-50, maybe. Because, you know, she claimed during voice notes that he constantly talks about YouTube. It's like eat, breathe, and sleep YouTube. Even at dinner, you know, he'd be going through his emails, he'd be checking stuff. It's just constant YouTube. You know, I look at YouTube mostly on my days off. When I'm working, I'm working. I come home, I kick my shoes off. I just want to chill. On my days off, I would say I do put more into YouTube. A lot more of my time goes into YouTube because it's my social outlet. Most of my friends that I hang out with are either colleagues or friends who don't really give a shit about YouTube. They know I do YouTube, but they're not invested in it. So there's like 3 different parts of my life. There's a work life, there's a home life, and there's a YouTube life. You know, because I've got friends on here that I have known for years. I've got friends in real life that I've known since I was in like primary school. And then obviously a family have been there from day one. So I have, you know, and then on the other side, like the extended family, as I call it, are my work colleagues. And I've made some good friends from working over the years. People I still talk to and everything. But you can become too fixated on YouTube, where, like Dawn was saying, the voice notes said that he's just obsessed. It's constant YouTube. Eat, sleep, day and night. He needs to know every time somebody talks about him. He needs to know what they said, why they said it, who they said it. So then he can make a response video having a go. Which is fine if you want to stay up till 3-4 in the morning talking about me and Tammy and everybody else, I mean, so be it. I mean, it's your life, Eli. No one's telling you what you should be doing with your life. No one's, saying you shouldn't be up all hours, but it can't be good for you. And it can't be good for your relationship with Dawn either, to constantly be obsessing with YouTube. I mean, there is a limit in my eyes to how much you should fixate, on YouTube, in my case anyway. Sorry, I'm just doing something a sec. Maybe he suffers with depression. I think he has an obsessive compulsive disorder to having to know every time somebody mentions his name. I think that's more likely it. An obsessive compulsive disorder where he has to know every time somebody mentions him, basically. A lot of people that use screen time a lot or have social media have depression. That is true. That can be true. There are people out there that, do suffer from that. So I just got to take a picture. So it's entirely possible, but I mean, there is a limit to how much of my life I spend on YouTube. I live stream on occasion. I'm not here live streaming day in, day out, hours at a time. I don't want to be completely fixated on YouTube. I mean, I do have a life outside of YouTube. I do have friends, I have family and everything. So, to become completely engrossed in YouTube, where you are literally typing your name in the chat, which he used to do. Nowadays you can tag people in it, but back in the day he used to type his name into YouTube to find all the videos that were on him and then just watch them so he can make a response. Nowadays, the fact that we tag people in videos, it does make it a lot easier. If you wanted to find out that someone was shit talking you, you find out in a heartbeat. It's not that hard. But obviously back then it was a bit different. Things have, I wouldn't say come on leaps and bounds, but they've certainly changed the way that YouTube allows you to talk to people. But I mean, if you want to be that fixated on everything that anyone's ever said about you, maybe not be on YouTube, because you're gonna find some horrible things. I've had trolling videos made on me before. I had a trolling video from Shiny before. I've had a trolling video from Nerve Gorilla before. There are people that have trolled me on this platform, and honestly, I just don't give two shits. I'm not going around YouTube typing my name in to find people, watching every stream that mentions my name, because honestly, I really don't give two shits about what anybody else thinks. I never have, and I never will. I just don't care. I just don't care. I don't care enough. They want to say this, that, and the other. I mean, honestly, I'm just not bothered. It doesn't faze me anymore. As Eli said, these YouTube streets, you are either built for them or you're not. And I would say I'm built for them. I've had issues with certain creators for years. And I'm still the same person. I've not changed. Probably got more balls than I used to have. Back in the day, I don't know if I'd have said half the shit I do today. But then again, the world has changed. Media has changed. What you can and can't say has changed. And just how people are perceived in general has changed. People are so quick to judge nowadays. So quick. And it's all right for Eli to come out here and say, well, just because we hate him, we're emotionally stunted, we're degenerates, we're clowns, we're lower lives, we're third-rate citizens. I mean, give us a rest, Eli. We're mentally handicapped, we're illiterate, we're jealous, we're conceited. I mean, he said a lot of shit. And it's just projecting. All of that is projecting. To be that self-absorbed, to be that like, I'm just better than everybody else. To that extent, I then believe you're not. Because that is an immense projection to portray that you are perfect and that everybody's jealous. Nobody's jealous of you, Eli. And I mean nobody. Literally no one is jealous. I don't care that you live in California. I don't care that you've got a girlfriend. I don't care that you put premium gas in your car. I don't care that you worked for DoorDash or Uber Eats. I don't care about your family's estate. I don't give a shit about any of it. What I do give a shit about is you hurting people on YouTube, which is a thing that can and will be stopped. Can't it stop you getting an inheritance? I can't stop you sprouting bullshit to people that will listen to you. But what I can do is continue to voice my opinion, continue to stand up for what is right. And whether you want to suddenly get a conscience one day on that what you're doing is detrimental to people, and admit that you have numerous times hurt people within the YouTube communities that you have tried to surround yourself with. And then when it doesn't work out for you, you literally hurt whoever you can to prove your point. I mean, it is kind of petty, right? So there are 11 lurkers because nobody's chatting today. It's very quiet in here. There are 11 people that are stunned by what I've said, or are you watching, Eli, with your little minions? If you're watching, Eli, feel free to type in the chat. I do not have any blocked words. There are no blocked words. There are no times out. There's no nightbot. There's nothing that could stop you chatting. Because you know Eli's watching. He claimed he wasn't watching my video the other day, but quite clearly he was watching my live stream. You know, couldn't help himself. Which is fine. It's a public forum. Anybody can watch it. The snow is letting up here. I'm lurking at work. Miss Anna Rum, how are you this evening? I knew you'd be working, my dear. Sorry, I'm running tests at work. That's okay. I'm just checking how many of Eli's stalkers I am keeping entertained, because you know they're watching. I mean, to be fair, they're giving me watch time, so I get working and listening. Nice lady. Hey, Driftwood, thank you. That's fine. You can lurk. I'm just checking how many of my stalkers are genuine viewers. I'm kind of filling time between my stream and Tammy's. Obviously, I won't be on for the entire 4 hours that is between mine and Tammy's. I just wanted to oh, come on, take a selfie. So I got to send someone a picture. just wanted to do a live stream to reiterate my my concern this morning that Eli was trying to say that we were accusing him of the DV situation that happened within his area. What we actually said is that we hoped it wasn't Dawn, and that if it was Dawn, that we were glad she was away from you, and then if it wasn't Dawn, we hoped she was okay. Talk turned me on to you guys. Love it. Well, thank you, Driftwood. We do keep you entertained. Or I do try to keep you entertained. Mind you, I haven't gone live in quite a while. So if you want to subscribe to the channel, Driftwood, and click that notification bell, that would be amazing. If you want to donate to the channel, super chats are the way to go, or super stickers, anything that directs to the channel. I know YouTube take 30%, but nobody likes PayPal, and it's the only other option I have aside from YouTube. I do live stream on occasion. Recently, I haven't live streamed a lot. Tammy's been doing most of the restreams because my internet's a bit fucking shit. And if I could restream Eli, I would. But Eli also likes to flag my channel. He's done it not once, but twice. For someone who claims they don't flag people, he's took my channel down twice. I lost monetization both times. I did get it back both times, mind you, Eli. Yeah. Can't keep a good girl down, can you? Because I've not really done anything, that would warrant that kind of abuse. But, Eli likes to play the waterworks and the drama and, be all like, oh, they're bullying me. Oh, they're harassing me. Yeah, you didn't talk about Lycan and JB and Pedro and Hannibal and RJ and Talk and Flex and Hot Facts with Robert Reese when you were beefing with all of these people. You didn't make numerous videos on each of them, targeting them, telling them their day would come, telling them their channels were going to go down, telling them that you wanted to file lawsuits on people and everything. You don't class that as like harassing, intimidating. No. What about the 700 videos that you have dedicated to Lycan that were on both your channels at one point? The videos to JB, the constant harassing of numerous communities, and then saying that we were trolling and harassing you. The background checks, the fact you wanted to hire a hitman, the fact you wanted to pay somebody, i.e. a private investigator, to find where JB was. I mean, come on. Seriously, Eli. You want to tarnish yourself as the golden child of YouTube? At least stick to your guns and come out and say that you've done shit like that. And then you want to project and tell us that we're bad people because we background check people, we fact check things, we do our research. God forbid. Talk ripping on the good coach is high comedy. And you know what people come on YouTube for? Entertainment. That's it. Let's say it all together. Entertainment. Smiling. Positive content. You bitching about people for 3 hours, Eli, going, well, I could sue you, but I'm not going to. But I could sue you, but I'm not going to. That's not content. That is technically threatening somebody with a lawsuit, harassing them because you're constantly talking about them. You doxed me yesterday because you said, the Midnight Raven, I believe your real name is Donna. That's doxing, Eli, just letting you know. A lot of people don't know my real name because I'm known as the Midnight Raven. The only people that know me as Donna would be people in my Discord, people on Facebook and people in my outer life. A lot of YouTube people don't know my real name. So thank you for doxing me yesterday, Eli. That's perfectly fine. Half the new crowd don't know my real name, but put it out there. Why not? Because you can always claim you didn't dox me. I've not watched Talk. Really, I haven't really watched Talk at all. I don't know if he'd be my kind of content. I do like, but Tammy's gonna go and do. I believe she's doing a stream this evening. I don't want to say too much, and then I'm sorry, it is 6:30. Eli's doing a on the couch with Dawn at 3:30 my time, which I will not be there for. But I am sure somebody will restream it, or somebody will let me know if it happens, and then I will drag my ass up tomorrow morning and watch it. But my side is Richard. Yeah, so unless someone's got some other conversation they want, I don't want to rag on Eli for too long, because then apparently I can be classed as stalking and harassing him, and he'll send me some kind of lawsuit, for stalking and harassing him. You know how it goes. Stalking and harassing is only stalking and harassing if I'm doing it to hurt him in some way. I'm not trying to hurt Eli. I'm trying to get him off YouTube. But that's not generally hurting him. That is for the benefit and the well-being of the people of YouTube. Because I don't see how YouTube can condone him having 400, 500, 600 videos going at people, calling them clowns, calling them immoral, degenerates, scum of the earth, lower rate citizens, and telling us we're all mentally ill, and his channel can just be left to run. It doesn't work like that, Eli, and it won't continue to work like that, because I'm not stopping. I don't know about anybody else, but I won't stop until Eli's off the channel and trying to circumvent the system, like he was laughing and joking when Jamie first lost his channels and thought it was amazing. Because Eli had wanted to get rid of JB and Lycan for years. What was the term he used? Flag that motherfucker. Have his channels down, flag him, and all this. He had lots of people do it. The same that I was apparently flagged by Riley Jones, who Eli told to flag my channel. So thank you to Riley, who supposedly flagged my channel on Eli's behalf and got me demonetized previously. And then Eli did it himself when he didn't have his little cohort around to do it for him. Yeah. So I don't know how everybody feels about the upcoming Hot Facts with Robert Reese interview. I can't see that it's I can't see it's going to be too interesting, but that's just me. I think it's just going to be the normal regurgitated shit from Eli. The same old, poor me, play victim. I'm so traumatized. It's all me. I mean, I would like to think it would be an interesting interview, but I think they're going for the victim angle, which... Oh God. If you've ever heard Eli's victim, his victim stuff, it's just so pathetic. But, I could be wrong. It could be a riveting watch, but I think it's just going to be the same old shit that Eli always does. The same regurgitated stories, the same poor me, playing the victim card. Everybody's come after me. I did nothing wrong, and yada yada. Same Eli spiel that's been going on for years. I've never done anything wrong. They troll and harass me. I've not spoken about them. You mentioned me yesterday, Eli. You mentioned Tammy this morning. Go figure. You're quite happily mentioning us, Eli. The only problem is if you mention us, we have the right to mention you. It's fair game there, Eli. So you mentioned me yesterday, I'm mentioning you today. You wanted to stalk my stream yesterday? Go ahead. Stalk every stream I ever do, Eli. You can hear some wonderful information. And then you and Dawn can do a stream tonight talking about all of us, because that's the only content you two seem to have. You need drama. Or you need a vlog. A nice blog to read, the two of you, where you can give your spin on somebody's already, decided facts, and then go, yeah, I don't agree with that person. You don't agree with the professional who wrote the blog. Okay. Right, because I forgot Eli knew everything. Like your illiterate stream that was fucking hilarious. For someone to judge somebody else on their literacy, Jesus Christ. You had to scrape the bottom and the barrel to find something wrong with talk, didn't you? You had to scrape the bottom of the barrel to have a reason to go at him. Because you didn't have anything else. The same as you don't have anything really to go at Pedro and Hannibal for. So there was a glitch. So what if they used it? A lot of people used it. You don't see yourself going after everybody that used that glitch. Why Pedro and just Hannibal? Why those two people? Why not go after everybody that used it? See, Eli, you have to know when to pick your fights on YouTube and when you've lost. Well, just know when not to poke your nose into other people's business. It's a game, Eli, and you're losing. You've always been losing. You've never risen to the top, Eli. How does it feel? How does it feel to just be mediocre? Down with this crew, huh? The mediocre crew. How does it feel? Does it feel good? Does it feel good to be part of the mediocres? The mundane, the simple-minded. How does it feel not to have your 10,000 fake followers yet, Eli, that you kept telling RJ about? You can have 10K, are you? What, by the end of the year? How many of your followers are real? That is the question. How many are real? I'm going to suggest not a lot. I hate to suggest that your numbers are, dare I say it, fake. But you know. See you later, Bodacious. Hope your lab tests are going well. I won't be on long, too terribly long. I don't want to bore people with repertoires of Eli's failed career, because, well, you could just go on YouTube and watch it happen with your own two eyes. But I did want to reiterate some of the accusations he was making, not only yesterday after I live streamed, but this morning, to reiterate that the only reason that I was concerned for Dawn was for Dawn's well-being. Has nothing to do with the fall of Eli's pathetic channel. I don't care if he has a channel. Do I wish he didn't have one? In a way. Do I think he's dangerous? Abso-fucking-lutely. Do I think it was the right thing to bring Dawn onto his channel? Absolutely fucking not. She's not fit and well enough to work. She's not fit and well enough to be part of YouTube. Her main concern right now shouldn't be YouTube or the gig economy or the fights that Eli's having. It should be her health and well-being, which Eli should put above everything else. Everything else, you know. If he was that concerned that she was having seizures and shit like that, he wouldn't do an hour and a half walking stream on a trail. You know, if he was that concerned for her well-being, he wouldn't go on live streams for 2 or 3 hours on different channels. He'd be with her constantly. But there's only so much you can micromanage a person. If she's going to collapse, have a seizure, she's going to have it. Whether you're watching her 24/7 is irrelevant. But the whole thing with her being missing for a week, not given any explanation for it, having a family emergency, cancelling the interview, it just goes together. And if you have had a Barney and she just has gone to her mother's, just say so. If you're watching Dawn, and I know you're probably not because Eli won't let you listen to anything that anyone says, if you went to your mother's for the week because you two had a Barney, just come out with it. The worst thing you can do on YouTube is lie, because the truth always comes out. Every YouTuber I know on YouTube who has lied at some point at one and another has been caught out by screenshots, voice notes, phone calls, live streams. If you lie, people find out. You can only lie for so long, because it only takes a slip of the tongue by Dawn in the future to let it slip. Oh, you know, that time I went to my mother's after we had that Barney, you know, that weekend, and be like, oh, so it was a Barney. You see what I mean? It doesn't take much to slip up on YouTube. Give out a date, a time, an event, a situation. And you're like, oh no, yeah, that one, that was funny, wasn't it? Moving on. It's easily done. That's why you have the 1 minute delay, Eli, to stop scenarios like that happen. But you can't always predict it's going to happen. Even with a 1 minute delay, be surprised what you can sprout out in a minute. But we just have to hope that wherever Dawn is, if she's at home or her mother's, that Dawn is fine. That's all we want to know, is that Dawn is fine. New Dyke Dash merch. There you go. There you go. Dyke Dash merch. At tpublic.com. Yeah, if you missed the Dick stream earlier, wow, you missed a doozy. Dick Dash and all that. It's a thing. Oh. Dick Dash. The new Dick Dash merch. I see what you're doing. You're spelling it. I see. Dick Dash. I thought it was Dyke Dash. The new Dyke Dash merch. Well, it could be either. I mean, you got to be multily approachative now, haven't you? You can't just be Dick. You got to be Dyke and Dick and all this. Well, there you go. If you want some quality merch. Damn, my Canadian designer screwed me. Dick dash. Oh, well, sometimes you just can't get the staff, J-Rom. Well, I was going to do my stream at the graveyard this afternoon. I can't complain. He did the design for free. Well, there you go. I was going to do my live stream this afternoon from the graveyard, with it being Halloween, and I couldn't do it because somebody was being buried on Halloween, which I didn't know you could do in the UK. I didn't know you could have a funeral in the UK on Halloween. I thought it was actually not allowed. Most people frown. There are certain dates within the year you don't have a funeral. You don't have a funeral on Friday the 13th. You don't have a funeral on Halloween either. Friday the 13th and Halloween are like the 2 days you don't bury somebody for obvious reasons. But someone decided that Halloween every year should be the anniversary of their beloved, which it is their choice to be buried on Halloween. I myself wanted to get married around Halloween, not on Halloween, but around it. I wouldn't necessarily choose to be buried on Halloween. But somebody chose to be buried on Halloween. Or that's the date that came up. So I couldn't live stream. So I had to change what I was doing. And then it chucked it down with rain. So not only could I not be in the graveyard, I then couldn't do a walking stream, which is why you've got me in my house. And I know it's not the same. And I know I'm not dressed up. And I know it's not Halloween-y. But my mental health hasn't necessarily been great. So there's that. But yeah. So I've been live for an hour and 49 minutes. Unless anybody else has got anything to say, I'm going to bid you a fond farewell. It is Halloween. It is 6:45 in the evening. I have no plans whatsoever for Halloween. Obviously, my stream was rained off this afternoon, and then there was a funeral, and I have at least the decency not to film when there's a funeral going on in the cemetery. Obviously, there'll be another new, fresh grave. Whether they're being buried there or whether they're being buried in the cemetery, I don't know. They tend to have the funeral at the church, and then they go down to the cemetery, which is where most people are buried now. A lot of people aren't buried in this churchyard. They're buried at the cemetery, which I have actually filmed before. And I filmed that a few times now. But, what can I say? Thanks for the stream, beautiful Raven. You are welcome, 7, if you would like to like and subscribe. If you haven't, if you're new to the channel, like Driftwood was. If you want to support the channel, a PayPal, a Super Chat, or Super Thanks would be amazing. Give me a treat this Halloween. You know, Eli hates me getting donations and literally flags my channel pretty much every time I get one. Who knew I was so popular? I hope you've enjoyed this. Don't forget, Tammy's going live this evening. And then Eli's apparently doing an on the couch stream with Dawn. I won't be up to see that because it'll be 3:30 in the morning. But I am sure my little Raven crew will keep me in the know of if and when things occur behind the scenes. Thank you to J-Ron, thank you to Bodacious and everybody else that I cannot be bothered to scroll up. And thank you for being here, because there's just too many of you. Thumbs it up as well. I'm going to keep this stream because I've said nothing on this stream that I wouldn't say to Eli's face. If you've been watching Eli and Dawn, much love to both of you. And I'll see you all soon. Good night.